Today, I have a great group of guests on the show. We have Zaddy from his popular podcast, ZaddyTlks, Truly of TrulyIntuitive, and we have my real life spirit guide and best friend, Colorado. Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you for being on. So,
Thank you.
this is a really crazy show that I wrote. I've always wanted to do it just because of the Kevin Samuels shit. And it's crazy because when I first started getting involved in Kevin Samuels, he like died like a week fucking later. And that turned into a big thing. And it's led me to do like a bunch of research on YouTube into this thought process. And there's a whole side of YouTube called the Manosphere. And it's basically there's a whole section of YouTube. That's what they call the whole section of YouTube that is pretty much self-help for guys. And there's different levels of the manosphere. So it starts off with like, you know, the bros that are like, do push-ups and get better. And then it slowly pushes into like, bitches ain't shit and they're emasculating us, and then it slowly starts getting more like far right political and even goes into like neo-Nazism and like the weird anime subculture like with the edgelords and shit like that. So with that being said, just talking about as far as like the topic men versus women, the first question I wanted to ask, because it's a term that Kevin Samuels didn't invent but he popularized it, what does high value mean to you guys?
I want to hear from the man first. Ooh, because I mean, we can think we know what a high value woman is, but this was coming from a man, so I definitely want to know a man's perspective first.
On just high value or high value women?
We were talking about high value people today or women?
Both.
Right. Okay. So I want to know what high value is, especially coming from, you know, the point of view of Kevin Samuels.
So Kevin Samuels basically he broke up high value into a bunch of like points, and one of them is that you have to be making okay, so value is, you know, it determines how much something is worth, right? And of higher value means that you're not average, so you're not making average money, you don't have average looks. Well, I guess looks isn't that important to men as it is with women when it comes to high value women, because Kevin Samuels has this ideology that a woman's currency, whereas a man's currency is literally the dollar value, a woman's currency is how pretty she is on that scale of 1 to 10, right?
Okay.
So I guess, yeah, what he defines how value, it's all these lists, and I guess we could go into them, like all of these key points that make up high value people, but I'm wondering, like, is that real? Or is that something that is just...
I think Kevin was just trying to, a lot of times on Kevin's show, he's trying to talk to women to make the point of, it's so, what people don't really realize that he's making the point for, there's a lot more average men out there than it is these high value men out here. And, you know, all these women want these high value men. We can go down the list, 75K and up. I think that if you're going by the principles of protect and provide, and with provide does come a financial obligation to be able to provide, you know, for your family. But I think the other things on there, I think is going to be key, but I don't think it's necessarily the end all be all on what a high value man is. I think if you honest, you know, you have a great job, you 75K, I think it's just relative to whatever he was saying, but have a great job. Length of time of job obviously matters, because, you know, if you're from job to job and don't have consistency in your life, you can't be consistent with a woman. So I think all of this stuff matters. But I think what he's trying to distinguish is a lot of these women say they want these high value men that are on the rise and on the way to becoming some of themselves, but don't want to put any work in. But I think he was just putting a list together so that women can understand this is what you should be looking for, versus saying that, okay, my guy, he has a job, but, you know, is he really protecting and providing for you and yours? So, you know, I kind of agree with Kevin when he talks about some of these things. 100% agreement on some of these things, but I think when you look at it as simple as protect and provide, the list that he has really encapsulates that.
That was pretty I never thought about it that way, as that almost being like a guide. Like, if you're not consistent with money, how can you be consistent like in other facets of your life? Like, as far as like in a relationship, I never thought of it that way. I think, who is that? But
That's not me with the background noise, I don't think.
I take it out. But I think the thing that a lot of women turn off their ears with a lot of podcasts that are male focused, and I don't want to speak for all women, but I know there's a couple of things when I hear them. One of the things is the straw feminism that they use. And straw feminism being like, they will take the most extreme, crazy example of a hot girl or whatever to prove their point. And it's not the norm, but it's clickbait. It'll get you that cheap view. It has that crazy factor. But when you choose that to prove your point, like hot girl summer, if your point is hot girl summer is the reason why ABCD is happening, and then you choose something from like the Fresh and Fit podcast, some like crazy ass slutted bitch, like it would turn it kind of it stops you from going deeper into the analysis of why women like that exist, because it's a thing that it's systemic, which means that men and women have a part to play in it. And a lot of these podcasts, they only take the wild thing, and it kind of absolves them from taking accountability for why some women go so far off the edge on it. Really unmuted herself.
And I want to sure I didn't have any background noise, but I agree with the both of you guys. I honestly do. Because I've listened to some of Kevin Samuel's podcasts, and I do agree with him in some points. I definitely feel like women need to have a list, or we need to have, it's a standards thing. We need to have standards. When we say we want something, you have to know that you have to at a certain point to receive it. And it's the same thing for men. And I think that sometimes we don't realize that we have to have a standard, or that we need to be consistent in ourselves to get what we want. And I think that he proves that, and it's candid. It's very people don't like the way he's saying it, but a lot of time it's accurate. I've watched the shows, and people it's more about getting your feelings hurt. He's saying it in a way that people don't want to hear it, but a lot of it is sometimes true. Like, not a lot, but it does be. I've watched the shows, and I'm sitting there like, I don't like how he's saying it, but he's saying it. It was this one circumstance. I'm gonna give you one circumstance where it was this girl, and she was staying at home, and she was like, I want a person who makes so and so money. They have their own place. They have their own things. And he's like, ma'am, what would you say? What would you say your rating is on a scale from 1 to 10? And you said you're living at home, right? And you said that you're going to school for this, but I'm sorry, that wasn't me. But yeah, it's not a job that will supply certain money, or that is not a job that's consistent in the world that we need right now. So it's like, ma'am, you're saying all this, but what are you providing? What are you giving? What do you have that you're providing that stability for that man that you're saying that you want? It's not to say that you can't have a man, but you're saying you want this specific man, and you are providing just like your home. You don't have a foundation, not no money, not nothing, and you're saying that all you want is that man. And it's about realizing that, again, you have to be willing to uphold the standards that you say you want. And I think that's one thing I get from it. So
right, but
it's just that, yes, my thing is, when it can sound weird, or it can be weird when women don't already have standards, or that I think we feel a little convicted sometimes that we have been accepting less. I mean,
they do feel convicted. They do feel convicted.
There are probably way more regular men than high value. If you really say you want a high value man, you cannot be a regular female. If you want a high value woman, how do you expect to be a regular? You can't be regular wanting more. You got to be extraordinary if you want extraordinary. Go ahead.
What Kevin Samuels broke down so well, and that's why it was so hard for him to take it. What you deserve, or you think you deserve, is different from reality. Two totally different things. Two totally different things when it comes to women. And women, we know, and I'm not going to say all because y'all going to eat me up, but most women get emotional when they feel that break. Yes, this is what you said you deserve. Yes, yes, yes. But just like you said, you haven't put the work in. You haven't done that. And your reality is going to be either alone because you're shooting too high for things you can't get. I'm telling you.
But
I'm telling you,
that's not only women, like men. We tell our young boys the part of our societal
statistics,
part of our
basic
society
math, more women than men, basic math.
part of our society, we tell men to, you need to be masculine, and that's, you know, like sports, get this, if you work hard you'll get a good job, if you do this you'll get the girl. But then when they don't, then and they don't get all the shit that their men are entitled to, then they get angry. Oh,
No,
they don't shoot up schools, they don't
no,
get
no, no,
angry.
no, no, no,
They
no.
don't.
Y'all, you perfect example. Y'all aren't telling, and I think this is going to be a big issue.
Oh
Y'all
God.
aren't telling young boys to grow up to be engineers, doctors, scientists. Y'all aren't putting those men on the pedestal. Y'all putting these gangbangers, these hood on there, right? Y'all want men to be out on the street. It's not a lot of women that I know personally that's saying, yeah, I want my son to be an engineer, doctor, scientist, nerd.
Why do you think that
What
is?
they
You think
want.
it's because they don't want to, or they don't know how
Because
to?
that's who their moms and their aunties idolize. That's what society wants them to idolize, you know, and that's who we choose to put on a pedestal in society.
I want
To
to go.
me,
I want to go back to what Truly was saying with when, I guess there are a lot of things, like I don't know if I'm a fan of Kevin Samuels as much as I'm a fan of rhetoric and just being interested in how people think. But where he lost me and where a lot of people lose me is when they say, okay, high value man, oh that's cool, you know, but then when you talk about a high value woman, it's not, there's no feminism, there's no equality. The high value woman, her value is truly based upon how she relates to a man, her usefulness to a man. And then that's when Kevin Samuel starts saying that he plays on that fear that a lot of women have, a lot of Black women have, that we won't get married, that we won't have a two-parent household, and then start
y'all don't
saying you
care
need
about
to
that.
get the fuck out.
I don't care about that for real, for real. Listen, it's been
We
20 hot girl summers in a row, man. Y'all don't care about
There
getting
you
married.
go.
Women
There you
listen,
go.
it's more baby showers. The baby showers more popping. I don't see rarely few marriages on my timeline, but the baby showers popping though. DJs, Bel Air Rose, and the father not even there. Women, I think, and you just some clickbait. I think that some women have just given up. Some women are just giving up. They know they've done. They
So
know
you
they've
think
done.
you just give up and you go all the way
And
out into whole life?
they've been doing it. Moms and aunties, and they told y'all you do not need a man. So when you're playing mommy and daddy, you don't need a man. And then when that alpha man comes in, it's hard to be able to submit a little bit. I don't think women are lesser than men. I think that it's a role that
right.
needs to be
And that
played when it comes to marriage and relationships. I don't think women's lesser. I think a woman's submission gives her the most power over a man. To me,
I think
you know what I'm talking about? It's quiet power. It's quiet power. It's not in your face Christian rock blue face power. I don't want none of that. It's knowing that this man is coming home to you. You have half of whatever he has made, even if you weren't there before he made what he made. You have half of that. You have everything. It's a different type of role to me.
But that's
And I think
also
that's
given
what
the fact.
Kevin was trying to explain. I think that's what Kevin was trying to explain. It's just his delivery
But
was a little
that's
bit abrasive.
but even that thinking is given the fact that you look at women as women that give a fuck about half of your shit, you know, like looking at a woman, like if I'm constantly thinking of what I can provide for a woman and it's only money, and this is how I'm going to attract this woman based on A, B, C, and D. It's like, so it's literally saying that women are gold diggers.
Money
all
is
we give
the
a fuck about is
baseline
half.
for a man. Money is the baseline for a man.
But it's
How
not
can
for
you
women.
provide? Listen, how can you provide if you know you don't have the foundation? Of course, you have to have character. Of course, you have to have personality. Of course, you have to be respectful. But if you have no money, you can be all those things. and y'all still not gonna want him because that's why all these women on Kevin's show, they want a man that makes money. I want money. If it was just about personality and this and that, 80% of men out here that's not really getting any ass. Let's be real, the average guys who y'all left behind. You heard me. These men have been left behind. I'm telling you straight up, they've been left behind. Million Man March, y'all have left average men. The man working at the plant. You follow me? The man making that good 20 to 25 an hour. Y'all left them. They hidden. So, you know, I think when you
agree. I agree with that because I agree with you because like you said, it's about about the resourcefulness. Just like a man wants a woman to be resourceful to him, whether it's for beauty, whether it is for, you know, cleaning up the house, or even if she has her own job or her own business. We want a man to be resourceful in our own ways as well. We need him to have good dick. We need his ass to be working. We need his ass to be putting in time. We need him to be that man. And my thing is whatever that means to us individually, but we need him. Like you said, the baseline, you want a man that got money. You don't want a man that ain't got no. Let's talk and let's be for real. Not to say that money is everything, but let's talk about the baseline of all things.
So how do you feel about competing with other women then? Because those type of men that a lot of women are attracted to.
That's just what it is. Women who it's obvious.
So competing with women.
Because the type of man that you just described that you like, a lot of bitches like those type of men. So you're gonna have to compete with other women.
Look, you have to realize as well, the type of bitch that I am, a lot of niggas like me too.
I was about to say that.
I have to compete as well. Why am I competing is not a thing to me. Competing is a thing to all these other females, yes. But I know I don't have to compete with any other female.
Once you put yourself out there and have value to yourself.
I value myself. I continue to be more of, I continue to work on myself every day. I continue to work on my business. I continue to work on my life, how I communicate. That is my value. I'm adding value to myself every day. I'm not competing with her for what? What does she have that I need?
Every person right now I'm looking at has value to themselves. So anybody dealing with any of y'all that y'all have not completely submitted to, I know for a fact they feel like they're competing with somebody, whether it bothers them or it doesn't bother them. I know for a fact they feel like they're competing with somebody else out there. So you have to, once you have some type of value.
The numbers are not on anybody's side here.
Like once you talk about the value game,
everybody's competing. Everybody's competing. Everybody's competing.
Everybody got to get it. But my thing is, I don't take it as competing is a strong word, and that means other people in their lives, and I'm comparing it to myself, and that's not what I'm doing. And I have done it in the past, and it has led me to change myself, to change how I move, to accept some things that I wasn't supposed to accept. So competing. Definitely
I'm just using competing as a word for people out there who really don't.
No, what I'm saying is also true. Like for instance, like we're both spiritual women, right? We can do all the crystals and all that other shit, but if we're not changing in a way that interests the type of man that we want, it don't mean shit.
But my thing is,
I'm
changing.
It's not about competing, but are you willing to share? Are you willing to share?
Share what? The chocha. The chocha?
I just shared
the dick.
Share the man.
Share the man as a wife. As a wife.
Are you willing to share the man?
As a wife. As a married woman.
Maybe.
That's submission.
Are you willing to share?
Look, here's my thing. This is what I feel.
If a lot of women wants this man, are you willing not to compete? Competing and sharing is two totally different things. Are you willing to share?
This is what I feel. I feel like as a married woman, if a nigga cheats and I never know that he's out cheating, then I'm fine. But I've been in a situation. I've been in situations where I've been in, shit. I don't want to talk too much about me and my baby father because we already heard that story enough. Bitches was keying up my car. I was getting jumped, like all kind of other shit because it gets
that's
messy.
Different. That's messy. That's sloppy.
A lot of niggas is messy. A lot of niggas will just not fuck the bitch and leave, baby. Dating her, being around the kids, doing all that other shit.
Yeah,
and
but
now,
we're
she
talking
on my
about
spot.
but you're talking about, man, that's a messy situation because why are you cheating within a 50-mile radius of your girlfriend? You hear me? You cheat, you should be all the way out. There's no getting back. There should be women keying up your car.
I think the reason why a lot of women are not so open to sharing is because a lot of women have been in situations like that
Well,
where
y'all
they've
sharing
had
them-
their cars
Y'all sharing
keyed.
anyway. Well, put it like this. Y'all sharing them anyway, whether y'all realize it or not. You know what I'm saying? Y'all sharing. Okay? Y'all sharing. It's been proven time and time again. It's been proven. Y'all sharing. It's just a matter of if you guys want to be willing to say, I understand that and move forward with these type of men, or are we going to have the great migration back to the average guys? I'm saying that for the average men.
Do you consider yourself a feminist, equal?
I equal underneath the law, yes.
So
Equal underneath
equal in your relationship?
marriage, no, it's two totally different roles.
So if a woman would be like, you willing to share?
It's two totally different
I
roles.
can cheat outside of a 50-mile
That's
radius.
not, listen, I honestly don't think that. I think that yes, women are freaks, but I don't think y'all are out. I don't think y'all really want to be out here sport fucking. Y'all don't, do y'all really have thoughts about having sex with multiple men multiple times a day? I just want to know.
For my listeners that don't have GEDs, what is sports fucking?
Sport fucking
Define
is,
sport
is,
fucking.
is fucking without emotions or caring. Like sport shooting, like you're shooting a animal not to consume it or eat it. You're shooting it for game or sport. Could you have your pussy out here and have sex with 7 different men every day of the week? Could you? Is that something that you want? Is that something that women think about?
I personally could not do that.
Okay. Could anyone?
But I wonder, but I'm thinking, is that more so of a thing that is stemming from precarious masculinity?
No,
where
why?
society tells, where in precarious masculinity, society tells men you have to prove your masculinity, and a lot of times that comes with being
No,
promiscuous. A lot of women.
Men really just be horny. Men, how is he?
Let me tell you something.
Y'all can't understand that the chemicals are different. The chemicals are different.
So I have a 5-year-old son that I'm co-parenting and co-raising to be a man. If he were to sit me down and be like, "Ma, I'm on the basketball team, but I'm also sport fucking," what?
No, that's a term. That's a term to get you to understand my point. I don't think majority of women can be out here sport fucking, having sex with no ties, no emotion, like men do.
My thing is, I like Ashley said, I believe that it has everything to do. It has everything to do with how you guys are raised. Everything before that. Listen, my best friend, he'll be the. I mean, I talk to him about this same thing all the time. And yes, when you're sitting here watching porn 10 times a day, yes, when you don't have anything else going on, yes, when the only thing that you do is work and the only thing that you do is go out to the club and put yourself in situations like that, yes, that is going to be the only thing that you're looking at. But when you are sitting here working on yourself, when you got other shit to do, other shit is on your mind. So let's talk about why you're only thinking about fucking all day when you have so much mental space to be thinking about other shit.
That is a good point. What is it? Is there?
Y'all just don't understand what men are thinking. Listen, y'all, that's crazy. Men, it's a man thing. It's a man. It's a man thing.
It's like
people, the people who have the most money, who work the hardest, spend the most money on prostitution. What are you saying?
It's your mom wasn't paying attention. It's your dad was not paying attention, or they weren't guiding you right.
It has nothing to do with men thinking about sex.
No, the first thing you said earlier was your mom raised you to be that because your mom put that person on a pedestal. Your mom, you talking about your mom too, not just our moms, you talking about your mom too.
My mom didn't put that person on a pedestal.
Let's talk about.
I never wanted to be a gangbanger or anything like that. I went to private school. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't subscribe to that. You're following.
That is your environment, and that's your friends. Those are the people that you're around, and that's why you probably had sex when you had sex because of peer pressure, because your friends was talking about it, because that's what you want to do at that moment. Listen, that had nothing to, again. The reason that you are the way you are is because way back, it's a man thing. It's something. Yeah, it may be a difference in the testosterone or whatever.
It's scientifically proven. It's scientifically proven. It's scientifically proven. They've done studies.
You have to listen, like you said.
They've done studies on this stuff.
Numbers aren't good.
Talk to me about some science.
Numbers aren't like you said. I'm feeding you.
Talk to me about science.
Good for everybody. You have to be an adult and decide what you do with your dick.
What do you
Because
think, Colorado, about sport fucking?
Thinking about sex,
About,
thinking
like,
about
sex.
sex and having sex.
just as well as you can fuck 7 people today. Just as you'll be more likely to get a disease than I would. And my thing is, you're gonna bring that back to all of those women. So my thing is, you have to be more responsible with your dick. Why are you sitting here talking about it? Why are you sitting here talking about it?
Thinking about sex. Thinking about sex and actually having sex are two totally different things.
No, exactly. So why do you bring it up?
Listen to what I'm saying. Thinking about sex and having sex is two totally different things. There's been studies, you can go countless studies that shows how much men think about sex. Men with money think about sex the most. They spend the most on prostitution. It's been proven. They have statistics and numbers. They have statistics and numbers to be proven for that.
What did they say? What do the statistics say about why those men think about that?
It's men. It's all men thinking about sex. Porn.
No.
Are you crazy? Porn is the biggest industry. Prostitution is the world's oldest profession.
What do they say? What do the statistics say?
Prostitution is the world's oldest. It doesn't say anything about race. It's about the mental. It's about the mental.
I want to hear from Colorado, because this is a conversation that we have a lot, because for those of you that don't know, CO is my best friend, and we talk a lot about, like, one thing that's crazy is, like, me and CO have a friendship that is completely platonic, like, and a lot of people don't understand, like, how two straight people, like, just don't romantically deal with each other. And part of that, I think, comes from, I don't know, I feel like a lot of our friendship is because you don't constantly look at me sexually, but I know there's a lot of times where I will ask you certain things like, how can a man truly be in love with someone and then cheat on them? How is that normal? And I know we've had that conversation sometimes, because you're just like, niggas just look at sex differently, you know? What do you think about that, CO?
Right. So personally, this is being honestly, like, involving this whole actual conversation. You can hear me, right? Y'all can hear me?
Yes.
I've been treated better by women in this society when I act out in your eyes. Like, when I'm just out here fucking bitches and shit, like, that's
like,
when
you get more bitches?
No, like, women just treat me better generally.
When you're mean to them?
Yep.
Why do you think that is?
Why do you think that is?
I think
I'm doing what I'm doing to get better treatment from y'all.
This is what I think.
Why
because
do I have to do that to get
here's
better
my
treatment
thing.
from y'all?
This is what I think, because I have a type. And I have two types, right? One thing about me, I like men that are I like men that are very smart. That's my first thing. I don't care how attractive you are, as long as you're smart. I really like that about a person, right? So I've dated the nerdy guys, the white guys that are like weird and shit, but that's like the number one thing. But the other thing is too, I definitely have that Denzel effect that a lot of women have, where it's like the smart guy, but he could also like wear a grill and be a gangster too, like that type of shit. And so I think that women, we just kind of like bad boys just because of media or whatever the fuck. Like, even think of like when we were kids, my favorite movie when I was a kid was fucking Aladdin. Aladdin was literally a street rat. Like, he was like on the streets.
Hold up.
Like,
I have to address that y'all women are in two
thing.
phases. Y'all are in two phases. Y'all want to have fun and then y'all want to settle down, right? So while y'all are in a phase of having fun, y'all aren't looking at the guy that, let's say, like, I was raised by both of my parents. I know how to be chivalrous. I know how to open the door for a lady. I know how to cook breakfast. I know how to do all that. I'm not giving that to. But why am I doing that? Why am I giving that to women who I know for a fact are literally in their whole phase? I know so many women in my life who talk to each other, and I'm around them, and they're like, girl, yada yada, but I'm about to fuck this nigga, yada yada yada, this, and I know when they're mentally not ready, they're not even looking for that nigga to settle down with. And I have all of these qualities. So, like, me personally, I'm gonna hold all these qualities in, and I'm gonna give them what they want. And that's where I initially told you I get treated better right now in this phase I'm in the phase that the people are around me in. And let's be honest, women often talk about settling down, but they're not actually ready to settle down.
how do you know when a woman's not ready to settle down? How do you pick up on that?
I don't know.
Listen, they
don't
still
care
out
at this
here in
point.
these streets. They still out here in these streets. They chasing after all these futures, and they think they're going to get a Russell Wilson on the other side.
Social
You
media
guys-
is a great indicator as well.
You guys control who's having sex. I give that. Y'all control who gets laid. We control who gets married. And that's where the rubber meets the road. Y'all have standards to get laid by the nigga with the grill and the rich nigga. But when it comes time for marriage, it's time for us to put the standards on. We're saying, I don't want no hoes. I don't want this. I don't want that. And y'all can't cut it. And then it's saying, oh, you guys are misogynistic. Nah, we just ain't settling for less after, because marriage is a whole different ball game, baby. Whole different ball game.
And bro said, why would you cheat so close to home? Because when it's time to marry, and you want me to pick you, but bro down the street, like, yeah, I did that with her. Bro across the, the DJ at the club was like, oh yeah, I got her number as soon as she, you know what I'm saying?
But how often does that happen?
No, listen, I have women that come on my I have women that come on my podcast called ZaddyTlks Confessions, where there's no face, no name, and they say the shit that happens in Miami. Women go down there and have sex with multiple men, some at the same time.
I go to Miami almost once a month, and I've never fucked no random nigga.
I said some.
Like attracts like.
I'm about to get
episode. Like attracts like. So my thing is, you're talking about. I talked to somebody else at the park that was saying, he always tries to. Listen, I walk up the street to go to my corner store because I can't. Now, so people around like always try to talk to me, but this guy tries to talk to me and be catcalling and stuff. I'm like, whatever. And I was sitting out there doing my readings one day, and he was talking. We got to talking or whatever. He was smoking, and he was talking about just Egypt. We was going deep into it.
When you was smoking with the nigga that was catcalling you.
Yes, my thing is, listen,
like, let me hold $1.
Listen, who let me hold $2? Because listen, why you want to sit down and offer weed?
$2 and a blunt.
You feel me?
Okay, so y'all was kicking some shit. He was talking about Egypt.
Talking about Egyptians and things. And we're sitting here going in it. He was like, I never really talked to people like this because all the people around here is just so dumb. Like, why I don't even want to go into it. That reminds me what Colorado said. Like, I see that they're not even in that phase, so I'm not even gonna go. But I said I can't fake myself. I'm not gonna lower and water myself down for this community. Why the hell would I do that? I'm only finna attract. I'm not finna fuck on you or lower myself down because it's just I see that if you in your whole phase, bitch, you gotta get your whole ass over there where the hoes at, and I'm finna stay over here where the real niggas at. Listen, only real niggas. That's what, and maybe that does mean being alone until a real nigga come up. Because yes, I have met real niggas, but you have to be real enough. I have to weed these niggas out. Period. And my thing is, you can fuck on 7, 8, 10 of these bitches, but my thing is, y'all not gonna be weeding up my pussy. Period. You gotta go on where you need to be at. Like attracts like. If you want that, if you finna order yourself down for it, then go ahead, have it. But my thing is, I have never been in drought of a nigga. I have been single for years and I have never been in drought of a nigga. So if you think that you're finna lose niggas by telling niggas no, by setting boundaries, please believe that these niggas gonna be on your ass like flies as soon as you start saying no. Like Colorado said, that's one thing that he said that was true. I mean, he always speaking the truth, but that's one thing he said that was true. When you act the way you need to act towards these niggas, they gonna be on your ass. When you telling them no, when you telling them that what you need, they finna be on your ass because now they know you deserve it. And that's what it really is.
Yeah,
hey, look,
I think I'm definitely in drought of niggas.
I'm never in drought of a nigga. I have never. My friends, why you always like, and it's listen, when you're smart, when you love yourself, when you set boundaries, who can't want you?
I don't know. I think you're more of a people person than me because
I think the real definition of a woman should be not if you have niggas. I'm not talking directly to you, but a lot of them say I have niggas. I have niggas, but how many men have asked to marry you?
2. And my thing is, I've been in 3 real relationships.
Not you, but women in general.
And that's what I'm saying. No.
How many men have asked to put it all on the line for you?
But
your point is about
your
point about how many females y'all can have sex with, and that's why I'm turning it around to think if we were thinking the same thing. If there are women like y'all talking about these women who are hoes, if there are women who are thinking like that, then I need y'all to know that if y'all set y'all boundaries, y'all can still have what y'all want and more.
But I
It's what
think
killing these women.
I think going back to like the marriage, like I think that sometimes that has more to do with where a man is in his life than like your own thing. Like for instance, like with me and my child's father, we had a okay relationship until it wasn't okay. But there were points in time where he's had that conversation with me where he was like, I would ask you to marry me, but I'm not where I
Woulda,
want to
shoulda,
be
coulda,
in my
and
life. Like,
actually
no, and that's the thing too. Like I read Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man, and that's one of the key takeaways of the book, that men they're not going to ask you to marry them if they're
Steve
not.
fucking Harvey.
But do you agree with that if a man is not ready to marry you, if he hasn't checked off on all of the boxes that he has, like, and you're a guy, you've had a lot of experiences, been a lot of places, but you're still a bachelor. If you're not ready to get married, does that mean that you haven't had good women in your life? No, that has more to do with you. So I don't think that's an absolute rule. If the man hasn't asked you, it's something that has to do with you.
I think so.
Why?
Because I mean, I think I think it's people are getting married. I
So
think that's the key thing here. Men want to get married.
So have you ever
Men
been
want
with
to get married.
a good woman?
Not good enough for me. For me. And this ain't no. I'm not saying one man's trash. They're good for them or whoever they choose to be with, but not for me. Obviously, I'm not with them. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's no hard feelings. I ain't saying they're bad people, but not the one for me. That's all I'm saying.
Shorty
All
I'm
right.
fucking with. Shorty
Huh?
I'm fucking with is actually calling me right now. That's crazy. She wants to have a baby so bad.
By
And
you?
yeah. And I have a 7-year-old daughter. And I've actually noticed, now that I think about it, that only around her friend group am I like, shit, fuck, I'm about to have no more motherfucking kids and shit, you know what I'm saying? Boom, 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 boom. But in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, I might have, you know what I'm saying, one more. I still need a boy. I still need to push out a boy, you know what I'm saying? Because I got a daughter. And it's like, the way y'all talk about the whole marriage thing, that kind of like rolls in the same situation. Like, for real, like marriage, from what I've learned, was like a whole construct like that was designed to make money. Boom, boom, boom. I don't give a fuck about that. Like, who a nigga really wants to have kids with, like really wants to make seeds with. I'm not talking about a drunk night. I'm talking about looks at a woman like, I'm gonna put a baby in it, like boom, 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 boom. Like, that's more of a testament than like getting married to me.
Let's
Personally,
talk a little bit about because I've also been really interested in the history of marriage and romance, how we look at it. And marriage before the 1950s wasn't about, I think, like the proposal ritual that we do in society now where the man gets down on one knee. That wasn't until the 1950s where they started doing that. Before, marriage was like, I own all of the bales of hay and you own all of the fish and we shall put our houses together and you have my daughter. Marriage was not a thing about love. Marriage was a thing about resources, and recently marriage became a thing where, after the 1950s, where it's more of a thing about romance with Hollywood, the Marilyn Monroe time where it was the thing like, oh, marriage is this. So I still feel like in a lot of ways, and it means even different shit to Black people, because let's not even talk about how we fit into that in America. But the thing that I think is very interesting is because with a lot of these new thinkers now that come up with like marriage and they say things with the modern women, when you really think about it, it's kind of turning like old fundamentalist shit and trying to like blend it into new shit that may not necessarily work. Like, because a lot of these podcasts talk about the modern women as if it's a bad thing. And I don't necessarily think it is a bad thing, because my thing is just like, okay, you don't have to choose to be with a hoe. You don't have to be angry about these women doing hoe shit. Just that should make it easier to pick out hoes from the other women instead of spending all this time like focusing on hoes, because we're perpetuating that. Like, we're giving it a lot of attention. Like, it's a lot of shit. Like, one of the biggest shows right now on TV is P Valley. It's about strip club and strip club culture. Like, and strip club culture was made popular by who? Men. because I've never given a pretty bitch shit personally. I've never done that, but it's a thing that when these things get popular, or when this woman starts getting money from having a hit song about popping pussy, now here come the men saying, oh, you're making this shit, you're making this popular to be a hoe, this, and this. And that's just like my 2 cents on that whole thing. Y'all quiet today.
I know. I feel like we went so far off. Like we were going for so long. I feel like we went off topic a little bit.
Women are actually out here doing that shit. I just posted a brief example the other day with this whole shit going on. Let's say you haven't been having sex for 15 years. Let's say hypothetically you start having sex at 15, you're 30 now, right? We know a lot of these women, not saying you guys, but a lot of women are averaging more than 2 or 3 bodies per year. We can comfortably say that 3-4 bodies a year. You do the math, some of these women almost have 100 bodies. And I'm fine with women doing what they want to do, but you can't have it both ways. You can't say, yeah, my body's a temple and it's spiritual and things like that. And then 150 men have been in that temple and spirits have been trained. I'm just being real. I'm just keeping it on.
I think the thing that confuses women.
A lot of people say it's a transfer of energy and this and that. If you believe that, then why are these body counts so high? Why is this hot girl summer shit popular? Some of this stuff in this feminist movement, this sexual liberation,
is that what you
fucking? Some of this stuff in this feminist movement with the sexual liberation is having serious consequences. I think women out here having as much sex as they want with whomever they want, having kids with whoever they want. They're not betting the men. The men ain't shit that they choose and have sex with.
But I think men are also accountable for the sexual revolution too with women too, because you guys, you support strippers and hoes and doing sexy shit. Like right now, it's probably all ass that you follow on Instagram. Your girl sees that.
I follow some good wholesome women on Instagram.
Get the fuck out of here. You literally were arguing with a bitch in your comments named Throat Grandma. Okay. Stop.
My page is open. She's following me. Doesn't mean I'm following her. God, I got an open page.
This personally ties into the next topic. Actually, cool. This is great.
Keep us on track.
What is it? The alpha male theory. Yeah, yes. Good. So like a lot of y'all women, not y'all women, not you.
Y'all women.
There I go.
There
I go. But just let me get it out.
So, no, say what you say how you want to say it.
A lot of women I've seen personally are in situations with beta males.
What do you mean situations in relationships with beta males?
They have babies with beta males. Males. They're married to beta males. Like, in what y'all really wanted was an alpha male. And I guess the topic is, I'm asking, like, were you thrown off thinking, were they thrown off thinking they had a high value men? Were they tricked? Because from my perspective as a man, I can see a beta male just when I look at him. After like 5 minutes of talking, I can see you're a beta male.
How so? How can you do that without being stereotypical?
Okay. So Kevin Samuel one time, hold your thought, Colorado. Remember, Kevin Samuels one time, he said, were you raised to be a wife? Were you raised to be a wife? Not do you know how to be a wife, but were you raised to be a wife? Were you raised to know how to communicate and know how to be there and know how to be a partner? Like, were you raised to do that? And the woman was saying that she did. Mind you, she was telling Kevin Samuels that she was in a relationship with a man for 10 years that wouldn't marry her. She said, were you raised? You said that your parents were married. You said, but were you raised to be a wife? And you couldn't have been raised to be a wife still being with a man that won't marry you. And what I'm saying, I said that to say that a lot of women, we talking about a woman that wants a beta male, she's a beta female. If she don't know that, she need to come up herself. They need to be with each other. It's a beta with a beta. If you're an alpha, you finna be with an alpha. It's doing what it needs to do. We complaining about something that's going right. That's me. Sorry.
How I feel about
I just have a difference of opinion when it comes. I think that hold on, I'm stuck.
No, you good. It came back.
I think that, you hear me? So I think that when I think y'all secretly want these beta men, to be completely honest with you. You guys like to control, you guys like having power over the men. You guys have seen generations of single women raise kids and do it all by themselves. So y'all say it all the time. I hear this all the time. I don't need a man. I have this, and that.
Let me tell you something.
I think that
I
men want women. Not saying they need them to live or need them to breathe. We aren't saying that because when I say I'm about to say, y'all going to say, oh, what I'm saying is men that y'all want women that want and need a man because it's something that man feels that only a man can feel. And an alpha man can feel. These beta males out here, y'all running all over them. Y'all doing whatever y'all want. Y'all going on, people going on TV disrespecting their man, saying that, DJ Envy wife, beta male number one, DJ Envy wife on there saying he has not made me come in 15 years. Come on now.
I would like to say that that's something that I'm not trying to say that I'm the outlier or anything, but I was actually raised I can 100% say that I was raised to be someone's wife. Like I literally went through.
It's a cultural thing.
And my father's Black, and my dad, I remember when I was a kid, like I went through this phase where I used to talk a lot. And I remember my dad being like, your boyfriend is going to hate you if you don't learn how to shut the fuck up sometimes. Like that's my Black father telling me that at like 15 years old. And I took it and I was like, damn, I need to shut the fuck up sometimes, And I grew up with my dad in the household, right? But here's the thing where I think it's a difference where I think a lot of these podcasts miss, because it's not only how you're nurtured as a kid, sometimes it's events that happen. And when I got pregnant and I was living with my child's father, my thing, 3 p.m., I was like, oh shit, I got to start making tortillas. I got to start doing this. So when he comes home, I know he's going to be tired and he's going to want a hot meal. He would come in the house, hey, babe. And then I would get the fuck out of the way because I knew he wanted to watch the game. I wouldn't be like, hey, trying to be all in his face because I know he's tired. He would take a shower and everything. And I did that for a very long time. And then when our relationship ended and we decided we are going to co-parent, and I went through like a nasty custody battle, I was put in a situation now where we're co-parenting and he has all these resources and he's able to take care of the kid. But when I had my kid on my weeks, I wasn't able to. So now I'm pushing a situation where, okay, yeah, I have the education because I went to college, but now I have to be forced to be masculine. I have to be forced now to be the alpha woman. I'm not married, I'm unmarried, and I have a kid. So now I have to find a good job. I have to find not only a good job, I live in the DC area, I have to do better than other people. And I was put in a lot of ways, and I'm not going to lie, I'm being super transparent here. I was scared. Like I was scared because I was taught to be submissive. And now I'm put in a situation where that shit ain't gonna work. Where most women, what would have they have done? They wouldn't have pushed through like I did and tried to like find shit for themselves. They would have jumped in another relationship and found another nigga to take care of them and be dependent on someone else. So what I'm saying is sometimes with these podcasts, when I hear that all the time, that like women are made to be submissive and do all of this, sometimes it's hard because I had to be forced to be like that alpha woman in times, like and I was raised all this way. Sometimes shit happens with Black people, and it happens a lot, where I could have been a bitter bitch. There's a lot of women that have similar stories to me, and they're like, fuck niggas ain't shit. And I can see where women would want to go to a hoe phase, or like, me too. I was 2 seconds from being on a pole. I was bartending, and I'm a pretty bitch. Niggas at the strip club would be like, get up on stage, bitch, get up on stage. I'm like, I got a fucking master's. I'm not getting on the stage. But look, you see all these other bitches that's like, oh, you think you're better? You get this shit, get what you want from a man. And then there's a lot of men that are saying, hey, bitch, this is what I can see where hoe phase. And that's what I'm just saying with my show, that I think it's just empathy, like on both sides. Whereas honestly, like honest to God, if it wasn't for like some men in my life being like, because I didn't have, like, when I was an adult, my dad said this shit to me, no bullshit. When I was pregnant and I stayed with my parents for like 3 months while I was in between an apartment, this is what my dad said. He said, hey, I'm not here to rescue you as an adult anytime you fuck up. And so I'm hearing this from my father. So I'm thinking like, I gotta be a nigga out here. I gotta hustle if I'm gonna be okay. So like, that's like the type of shit where I feel like, in my personal opinion, where I hear all of this, like women only want this, women, this bitches out here just trying to survive. And if they happen to find somebody they in love with, we actually out here trying to be a good person,
I tell a lot of my clients because that's my story too. Like honestly, that's a lot of our stories. Like we have to overcome a lot of stuff to get to be where we are. I'm a single
Bro,
mom.
like I make good money. I
But
have my own
sometimes
office.
you guys control what goes in, what comes out.
No, and no, listen,
Your
and
vagina.
I was just gonna say,
Hold on. You guys control what comes in, what comes out your vagina. Y'all keep not saying y'all, but women keep talking about all these lessons. I have learned this made better women. It's been millions of women that's learned this lesson.
right.
When will the cycle stop?
That's
I
what
think that we are. I think that we are being over sexualized. To your earlier point, we're being over sexualized at a young age. Men and women being over sexualized at a young age. We're having sex and we're having kids, not knowing what that really entails. Parents have not taught you about finances. So you think you can pop out a baby and expect to do it because you saw your goddamn girlfriend do it up the street. And the cycle continues. I don't, and you talk about empathy. Empathy is fake. Empathy is imagine myself in your shoes. People don't need empathy no more. Abortion is gone. People keep still letting men come in them and have kids. It's going to be worse. It's going to be crazy. So I don't want to hear about need to have empathy. Nah, somebody needs to tell y'all straight up. Stop letting these ain't shit men come in you. And if you are young, you should not aspire to be anybody's baby mama or have kids by anybody.
I'm
To
not
be completely
gonna
honest with you.
I'm not gonna lie. Like my child's father, he's a great dad. He wasn't a horrible boyfriend. Like he was a good boyfriend. But there were red flags that I definitely missed. One of the red flags was when we first started dating, he could not keep a job like at all, and he didn't
You
give a
ignored
fuck.
them. You
I
ignored
ignored
them.
it.
You
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
miss them.
yeah.
You ignored them.
Yeah,
And
I
listen,
did.
when you see signs and you ignore them, that's when I don't have any empathy or sympathy for the women at all. And that's where the women are taking issue with. They aren't taking issue with. They know they're wrong. They
Right.
know they made a mistake.
Right.
The issue is that I don't have sympathy for them because you willingly make the mistake. Y'all willingly want the hood nigga. Y'all willingly fuck a nigga that doesn't have a job or car or is using you for your stuff, and then spend 9 months with his baby in your belly. He didn't even come to the damn baby shower. And then y'all complain about it. I don't have no sympathy or empathy for that. We got to cut this shit out.
I agree with you. And I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons a lot of my friends don't understand it, because they're like, why do you never go hard and put them on papers for child support? Why do you accept this and this? I don't have to explain it to them, but deep down, I know that like this nigga has always had an issue. I knew that when I was fucking with him, that money was always going to be a little tight. I know that he don't have a degree or this and this. So like, how dare I try to shit on him with my friends and be like,
I don't even think it's about the degree. I don't think it's about the degree. I just think that the thing that a child is the most important thing you can give to a man. One of the most important things you can do. Y'all spend less time making that decision than y'all do on other shit. Y'all aren't vetting these men. Y'all aren't caring about what they have to offer. Y'all some just popping these kids out and and the sad part is they're saying, cool, I can get child support. I don't have to work. The system is fucked up on the man's side. And I have even got there to that. Regardless of how much you make, they take whatever they want to take based upon income, and women see that and have multiple kids by multiple men and get multiple checks a month. Y'all don't want a good man. If y'all want a good man, it'll be way more or less mothers out here with these niggas that just done ran off on them. Y'all want to get piped down by the nigga that's going to pipe y'all down the freakiest and nastiest. Doesn't matter if he has a job or not.
I think one thing that I think my biggest fuck up, and I'm just going to be honest, like with all of my followers and everyone that support me, was that I underestimated, I didn't think ahead about taking care of a kid. Like my kid right now, he's cognizant. He's not a baby anymore. He has his own personality. When I decided to go through with the pregnancy and start a family with this guy, I really didn't do my homework and all that. I didn't go through all of the the cost benefit analysis. I did not do that. And that's a good point because I am a thinker like that. When I'm at work, that's how I constantly think all the time. But when it comes to relationships, sometimes you're fucking dumb. Like sometimes I'm fucking dumb. And am I saying I was digmatized or not? No, it wasn't any of that. I was childish. I was 22 when I had my kid. Like I was young as shit. I don't think I, like you said, early sexualized and shit like that. Like,
And that's why the whole face, not saying you were in the whole face, but most women, they look the best between that 20 and 30. They look the best. They look the best between 20 and 35. I don't care what you say. And they're going through that whole phase. And a lot of them are having kids in their whole phase. And what happens? They go out, they had one kid, they go out, still in their whole phase, they have another one. I don't see what the rush is to have children so early at 20, 21, 18, 16.
well, I can speak on that.
I believe in
because-
abortion.
Well,
I,
but
I,
I
I
can-
do.
I can
I
speak on
do.
that. I can speak on that. The rush is society puts a lot of pressure on women, and even Kevin Samuels has said it. If you don't have a kid, if you don't get married, if you don't have all of this, then there is social there is what you get embarrassed about it. Like a lot of people put pressure on it. Like look at Halle Berry. The one thing people say about Halle Berry, she's a 10,
Halle Berry's
but she
good.
can't
She
keep a
good.
man, right? That's what everyone says. Oh, she can't keep a man. She must be crazy. She's successful. Checked off that box. She's this, check off that box. But that one thing, that's the one thing people are forever going to bring up. And that's what us as women, we deal with. Like you can check off on every box, but if you're single, why a pretty bitch like you single? You must be crazy. That's what people say when they meet me. You single?
Yeah,
You must be crazy.
I honestly would rather y'all be comfortable with being single than being single moms and complaining about woulda, coulda, shoulda had.
But a woman
what you
could
shoulda
be
done.
single, but guess who's gonna talk shit? Her friends,
Ooh.
her mother. Every time I see my mother, guess what my mother say? When you getting married, your
That's
sister
a
getting married.
cultural thing.
Your sister
That's
getting
a Mexican
married.
thing.
Shut up. She'd be like, your
That's
sister
a
getting
Mexican
married.
thing.
Look at you. Oh, we love my grandbaby. When you having another baby? That's what people ask you. Women that aren't even thinking about kids. Before I even had a kid, I'm studying, and my mom was like, "Oh, but when are you gonna get a husband, bitch? I'm trying to get my master's." And you're talking about a husband because it's cultural. It's society.
Just say y'all don't want to be married. That's all I'm saying.
Bro,
I'm not talking to the
no.
women. I'm not talking to the women sometimes that say they don't want to have long that don't want to get married. A lot of these women out here, they come and be talking about Kevin. They came on the show because they want to be married.
But it's like, but too, the other thing is too, like even being married, that's the goal, right? That's supposed to be everyone's
That's the goal for
goal.
some.
Like, yeah, like because with me, I feel like I do at some point want to be married, but I feel like the difference is there's some women, I guess, they at some point want to be married, but they're like in between, I'm gonna have this whole phase and then I'm gonna settle down and
You're done.
get
They're
this
done.
man, right?
The mathematics
right,
aren't in their favor.
Right. But I
They're
feel
not.
like it's so much pressure on a woman being married that it's just like sometimes it's a lot of slaps in the face, like no bullshit. Like Beyonce came out with single ladies, sing about all the single ladies and doing the ring shit. Whole time this bitch is married. That was a smack in the face.
Because that's what sells. Y'all eating that shit up.
Like
Don't
we
do
look
that.
at shit and we're just like, goals. Oh, goals must be nice. Like I don't know. I'm in the point right now. I don't care how good you dress your relationship up. I know that everyone is not as happy as they make it out that they are. I know that marriage, from seeing my parents married, and I think that's a big thing. I've seen my parents married, and I know that marriage is not some completely romantic shit. It's literally like being around someone all the fucking
It's
time.
a business deal. It's a business deal. That's all it is.
Like,
it's a business deal. It's
I saw my parents like, and I didn't see like the dominant submissive thing. I saw my parents kind of like two heads work better than one. So like I saw that some people were, my dad was better at this, my mom was better at that, and they two, had that dynamic. But at the end of the day,
too good, did it?
well, at the end of the day, though, how I was raised is that the man has the final vote, right? And even when I was in a relationship with my baby father, I was always telling my friends, my nigga said no, can't go. And they'd be like, what?
That
My
was
nigga said no.
you just said that was a beta male. See, y'all give the wrong males
My baby father is not.
power.
I didn't say my
over-
baby father was a beta male.
You said he had no money.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's a beta male.
You done. You washed up.
He was.
I'm done
He
with
is
you.
not a beta male.
I'm done talking to you. I'm done talking to you. He wasn't controlling nothing over there. You was running him.
I wasn't.
Let's
I
be
wasn't.
real.
No,
It
I wasn't.
was.
And I don't want to talk too much about my relationship. The dynamic in my relationship with my baby father and myself was that it wasn't about money and power. It was that he, and I feel like I'm getting my karma back for some of this shit. He liked me a lot more than I liked him. I got into the relationship knowing that he wasn't the person I was going to end up with, because I knew like there were parts of the relationship that I really liked. And yes, I liked him as a friend. And even
But why
like,
have a baby by somebody like that? That's just a question. Just a question. Why?
so when I found out I was pregnant, I did not want to have the baby. I didn't want to have the baby. I didn't. What had happened was, and oh my God, I hope no one from that era of
You don't have to
time
go
listens to
into
that.
it.
Yeah.
You don't have to go into. You don't have to go into it. But I will say this: you are a good one, because a lot of times, if a woman does not want to have a baby and a man does, what happens? She doesn't have the baby.
Mhm.
More than your situation.
But remember, I was raised to be submissive. So even though this man was not my boyfriend at the time, I knew that I was pregnant by him when he said I wanted to have the baby. And these are the reasons why. Because culturally, what I was raised, I listened. I did. Do I regret it? What? What? No, I had the baby. I had the baby. Like I did. MJ's here.
We
Like,
know.
the fuck?
I know we know.
The fuck?
I know you had the baby.
The nigga's here. Like I didn't want to have the baby. Like I didn't. Like I just felt like and I'm not gonna lie, like in even talking about this shit, I don't know if I want to be married at some point in time. And if I want to be completely honest with everyone, and maybe this will probably piss people off, I don't like being a mom a lot of the times. And maybe I'll be the first person to say that. I'm not one of those women when they say, "Who are you?" "Oh, I'm a mother." Or you look at their Facebook and it's like, you ever be on a bitch's page and you be like, "Damn, is this your Facebook or is this your kid?" You see the little nigga grow up and shit. I'm not that
A
woman.
lot of that shit kept too with all
Like
that. Social media don't matter how you are with
Like-
the kids. It's plenty of friends out here putting real work in behind the scenes. You know what I'm talking about? So I would say to you, don't discount, what you do just because you don't have a Instagram or Facebook full of pictures.
Right. But like,
what I mean?
but
Like,
society
I
says
feel
I'm a
you.
bad mom. Society
No,
says I'm a bad mom because I
say
don't do
often. I say often I was supposed to be somebody's auntie. I was definitely, once I had my child, I was like, yeah, I was supposed to be an auntie. I was supposed to only have a child and give them back to their parent.
You know what I was supposed to be? I was supposed to be a stepmom. I was supposed to be a stepmom.
That's why listening to y'all is saying
no.
Having a kid.
Can you let me talk real quick? Because thank you.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I know we're taking accountability because we had the child. We have our child. So it's about realizing, like you said earlier, that it's about we can't do that anymore. I can't why am I letting a certain guy come at me? Why am I even in this relationship with a certain guy? And again, it was us being young, us not really realizing. And my thing is, I wasn't raised to be submissive. But my thing is, I understand your side. I was not raised to be submissive. I did have the moms like, it's only me. I got this, and I was like that. And when I realized, I was like that. I even me being in a relationship with the guy I'm in a relationship with, I was like, I can't be this way with him. We wouldn't realize that the tools that got us. I was going to say this earlier. The tools that got us to.
What did that nigga?
The tools that take us to the place that we want to be. We can't use the same tools in that place. I cannot still be angry and yelling and over. I cannot do that in that place because I got what I want.
I don't
want to. It's about realize. I had to realize that definitely.
I don't want to.
Me having my child now. Me having my child now. I know that children it's a lot of work, and it's a big responsibility by myself, and I did not plan on doing it by myself. That was a thing. And I was planning on being with that person, even though I did not know what a real relationship was, even though I did not know what I truly want. And I thought I did at that point, because I thought I was grown. I know now that that's not what it is. And my thing is, I hope that I say I don't want no more kids, but every time I look at a child, like, dang, I do want a kid. So I hope that marriage and me actually doing it with a person who wants to do it with me, and the right person that God sends for me, hopefully I will change. Like, it's gonna be better. I'm going to be doing it with somebody else. I'm going to be there with somebody else. But as for right now, I have to do what I have to do for myself and my kid. So I don't regret having my kid. I wanted to have my daughter. It was hard. I was even writing the other day about me keeping my pregnancy a secret because of my mom. She was so like overbearing, and she wasn't even like that when I told her. But you can, like, again, we put ourselves in those situations. Yes, we do.
Like,
and I'm
that's
going to take
why
responsibility for it.
But
yes, I work every day to get myself out.
But part of the things that I do,
the message to the women should be not to have kids until you're ready. When I talk about this on my Instagram, women say, yeah, I made the mistake, but I'm a better woman for it. That's not the message. That's
my message. I can only
I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you.
No,
I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking in general.
I want to make it clear.
I'm talking in. Listen. Let me finish my point. I was quiet for your point.
I'm going to let you finish.
I was quiet for your point.
And you're going to be quiet one more time. But I was quiet
for your point.
Go ahead.
I was quiet for your point. I was quiet for your point. The message that a lot of women say on my Instagram is, yes, I made the mistake. Yes, I'm a stronger woman for it. Yes. I don't disagree with that. That's not the message that we should be sending to the young women. We should be sending, do not make the same mistake I made, even though I'm a better person. That's not the life we want for our daughters.
I just got it, because it's one of those things like that I used to teach when I was in kindergarten, that you learn from. There's failure.
No,
you learn
we
from
don't
failure.
Learn from
I got it. I got it.
It's not a lesson.
Got it.
That you need to be learning from.
We're not talking to kids though. Let's. Where's this podcast?
Oh no,
going?
he's saying what he's saying.
I get what he's saying.
Yeah.
I agree with him, and that was my whole point. I agree with everything that he has said. Who are we talking to right now? If we were talking to a bunch of kids, that will be my conversation. You guys cannot do that, and that's why I'm talking to my daughter. But who are we talking to right now? I'm telling the adults, real people that have been in these real situations, that you guys, this is where I've been. And yes, you guys can't be there. But my thing is, this podcast isn't even about this. So we're not going deep into detail. At the end of the day, no. You don't let these niggas come in you. No, don't move in with that nigga. No, if you're having any doubt about marrying that nigga, no. Is that what you want me to say?
I mean kids,
that's what it is. No.
Sorry. When I mean kids, I mean people younger than me, and I'm 33. So I'm talking about everybody who is single and childless listening to this. The message should not be to women, make the mistake and then you'll be a better off person. That message to be, I went through it. I don't want anybody to have to go through what I went through. And here's the thing, and I'm not saying you, a lot of women on Instagram think having this kid and being a single mom is like a rite of passage. It's not. It's not a fun life. It's not. It's not a fun life having multiple kids, multiple men.
That's powerful.
Don't have funds to buy a home. They're in a 2-bedroom apartment, kids stacked up on top of each other. Let's act like this is not happening. This is what's happening. They're saying that they can reach their top potential. How can you reach your top potential with 4 kids, 4 different men, and you living off the state? What business is you going to start with state money? I'm just being honest. I think, and I'm not saying you, Ashley, but a lot of these women try to glorify this single mother thing like it's a badge of honor.
Like the PPP loan, though.
No, I think that people, it's not about glorifying it. I think that people try to definitely make it seem better than what it is. Because it is hard.
Okay.
My thing
I agree with that.
My thing is that's anybody. That's you having a darn Ferrari and not being able to pay for it.
that's the thing with
everybody tries to make life seem better than what it
But
is. That's
that's
what social media is.
but that's the thing.
But
It's not just social media. That's the thing with
that's life.
That's the thing with Black culture in general, because like
No,
Mercedes,
it's a thing with everybody.
Mercedes Benz, for instance, right, was the number one car. I think we spent like $3 billion last year on buying Benzes, on buying fucking Benzes, and it's because it's a status symbol. Like a lot of people that don't have the status, we rely on these symbols. Like
That's
every
exactly.
nigga I know has Gucci.
We'll use
Right.
a baby, we'll use a purse. Listen,
Yes.
this makes me a mother. This one makes me, this is what my symbol, this is what makes me my life. And if that's your business, oh, this is my business. So this is what makes me me. Oh, this is my car. This is what makes me me. Oh, this is my dick. This is what makes me me. People gonna pick their symbol.
So shifting gears a little bit. One thing, the big point to my podcast, one thing that I love is like, I love that we sit and we dissect the problem, right? We do, and we all take accountability. But the whole point of the podcast is to come together and put together a guidebook, because this is something, Trap, Pray, Love is something that I want to pass down to MJ. So he's going to listen to this one day. My thing is, I'm raising a Black son right now, not by myself. He sees his dad. We have week on, week off custody. We see each other the same amount of time. I want to make sure on my time that I am not raising him to be so here's a couple things that I am doing. I definitely allow him to express himself. I do, but I also teach him to be competitive in society. So when he starts doing that dumb shit, like I don't like books or whatever, I make sure that school is a certain thing. The other thing that I do too, and a lot of people don't like this, especially my parents, because of the world that we live in, I teach him consent in a way where when I say give me a hug, I don't do that. I don't say, hey, give your mama a kiss, give me a hug. I say, hey, can I have a hug? Can I have a kiss? And sometimes that nigga say no, but it teaches him that, hey, when somebody says no, you say no. Like there are times he'll be like, mom, can I have a hug? And I'll be like, no, not right now. And he leaves me alone because I, trying to look forward ahead. So I wanted to ask the men, what is something that I can do to raise my little Black kid, like something, because me and his dad, we co-parent, but we don't co-parent, we parent separately. What do you think is the most important thing for like a 5-year-old to like be seeing?
Sitting with his father for the whole summer.
You think so?
Fuck yeah. Hey, here's the thing. When women raise men, it doesn't really turn out too good. You know what I'm talking about? Like when it comes to some of these other skills, like if there's like no man present, there's some men that can see through that and identify other people as father figures to learn some of that stuff from. But it's certain things that only his dad can teach him.
Like
but
what?
there's things that you are good at. Men need to have some of these softer skills. That's
Like
why
what?
we got all these hard. That's why we got all these hard motherfuckers out here that don't know how to express themselves, have a conversation, disagree before shooting somebody or doing something like that, because they haven't been raised to deal with conflict, understand, and use soft skills to be a better person. I'm not saying only a man can raise a man and only a woman can raise a man, but when you have the blend of both,
The balance.
I think that's balance. You gotta have balance. And you see it with a lot of men that never had a dad and is only raised by their moms and around women all the time, versus somebody who has had maybe an alpha father and maybe a mother. You see that because they have a blend of all those skills. Some of these niggas, to be honest with you, too soft.
Because for instance,
some
like,
of these niggas too hard.
When he's with me, he sees me, I get up and I go to work every day. And at first I used to feel really guilty about it, because remember my background, women don't work, you stay at home and you do all this. So a lot of times when I'd have to wake my kid up and take him to daycare, I would literally cry sometimes taking my kid to work, because I'm like, I want to spend time, I want to cook him pancakes and I want to be at home, but I couldn't afford to do that because I live by myself and I have to pay the rent. And there's a part of me that was like, no, Ashley, this is a good thing that he's watching his mom get up and go to work. And it's an even better thing that he gets up and he sees his mom in a position of power at her job as well. Because maybe he can see, like, when I get older, I wouldn't be like the first to fall for the big booty, you need to buy me this shit, because maybe he'll think like, my mom did her own shit too. What do you think about that?
But you say that, but you still got some other stuff going on.
Go on, read me, go on.
You still got some stuff, like, so that doesn't mean anything. But I think that kids need their moms to be nurturers. That's your natural role.
Did your mom teach you how to be a nurturer?
Yeah, I think I am a nurturer. I know how to express myself. You know what I mean? I know how to have conversations. Don't be wrong. Am I perfect? No one's perfect. I still know what I need to work on, but I know my strengths and I know my opportunities, and I'm actively working on my opportunities to make myself a better person. And I think if I was just raised by my dad just alone, I wouldn't have that insight and that knowledge to be able to look at myself and understand sometimes when I'm the problem. And I get that from my mom and from, being around her, and also that education background. It looks like you're in education as well. I think a lot of times kids just need their moms to be there for them, to listen to them, to guide them in the right direction, to nurture them, but not to coddle them and, make them dependent on women, which
But
a lot of these men are now.
because you have that balance when you parent your kids, are you more nurturing because you've seen how your mom was like, it sounds like she was patient with you and talked more to you, or are you like a more nurturing father than your father was because of how your mom dealt with you?
Yeah. I think I am. Me and my father connected a lot over work. So, in order to connect with him, I had to be working.
And
You
that's not the
follow me? There
dynamic with
wasn't
your children.
no, there wasn't no, hey, let's go shoot hoops or something like that. It was, let's get some money. I have a successful catering business. Come learn the business, which in itself is a powerful thing. A father passing down stuff like that versus saying, let me just go out and have some fun with you. I'm teaching you something that you can use later on down the line. And I respect that. But I would have enjoyed having some of those, let's go to a basketball thing. And we did some of that, but it wasn't a lot. So I choose to do a little bit more of those things with my sons, basketball, football, spending time with them playing versus the working. Now, I have a son that's 13 and I have a son that's 12, right? My oldest son will be 14 this year. I'm about to start flipping them over into that work mode, into that work mentality, because I want them to understand that, yes, life is fun, but you have to work for it. And if my dad is passing this down to me, I want to have something to pass down to them.
And that's super
So
powerful because I think there's like a certain level of trust when you think about entrusting your child with something you've worked for your whole life. Like, did your dad start that from ground up? Did he start
He's
it?
been cooking for 30 years, 30 years. But I think the point is that it's still time spent with your father. You follow me? Regardless of if it's in a work setting or not. A lot of men don't spend any time with their kids. But to be able to say, yeah, I spent 10 hours with my Father's Day. Yeah, I was working like shit. But, when you're working around somebody, a lot of that stuff happens naturally. You have conversations, et cetera, things come up. So, but I like to do a combination of both. I think my dad kind of overworked me a little bit, like free labor, what I'm talking about? So I'm trying to do a little bit of the both with my kids. Have an ear for them, be able to listen for them, understand, but also be that rock and tell them, listen, this ain't right. This is the direction you're going in, and have that firm presence with them as well.
So he was your role model. Was it like that always growing up, or were you like defiant?
No, I wouldn't say.
Did it
a
change
role model
when you're an adult?
A business role model. He's a great man, doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, things like that. But when it comes to like, he's not as artsy of a person. He's him, and I get a lot of my traits from him. But I don't really think I have any role models, to be honest with you. Just people that I like and people that I like what they're doing, but I'm not actively modeling myself after anybody. I like to take traits from a people that I've met personally, and things that I've read, but I don't have that person say, dang, I really want to be like him. I kind of want to be my own man.
Would you like your kids to look at you as a role model?
I want them to feel the same way I feel about my dad. He has a great foundation, but I don't want them to try to be me or be in competition with me. I want them to be their own man and be able to step out there on their own.
So if you can rate yourself 1 to 10, how do you think you're doing? And that? Yeah.
As the father?
Yeah.
I got a lot of work to do. I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm probably like a good 6 or 7.
That's good. That's good.
I'm like, I'm being honest with you. I'm like a good 6 or 7. I think it's some more that can be done. I'm not saying I'm the world's greatest father, but I know my kids. I'm around them. I think there's some other things that I could be showing my kids. I remember one of the things I remember my father doing for me, which I want to start doing for my kids, was I went to Africa when I was in 5th grade for 2 weeks, and my dad really helped me see different cultures and really put a different palette on me than what I would have had if I would have just stayed in the area and things like that. So I think that's the next step that I want to do. I want to show my kids some different experiences, some different cultures, not just Maryland and things like that. But my kids have traveled. Their mom take them out the country, but I want to be the one to take them out the country as well. So I think that's the next step for me. Maybe I get up to an 8 by the end of the year.
I think it's worth being said, like even how you rated yourself, if you're the type of person to even think about fatherhood and your impact on your kids, it shows that you are a good father because, you know, people that don't even have those thoughts aren't good parents. You know, like if you're the type of person to buy a self-help book, chances are that you're a good person. You know, if you're the type of person to even think about that, because there's a lot of people that's like, I'm the best motherfucking mom. And then they're like putting out a black on their baby as they're saying that shit.
It's just like the women that say they look the best and, you know, they really don't.
Right. What do you think, Co? You look like you're just taking all of this shit in. Look at you're in your. What do you think? I want to hear what you think because
I'm gonna turn my mic down.
because the original question was like, and you know, as my best friend, I always take your advice like out here. What do you think? Like me raising a little young black male and he's going to be tall and he's going to be cute and he's already the cool kid. What do I need to do as a mom, like in my time to, you know, to push this shit forward? Like even like as far as raising someone to choose the right type of woman or maybe to even be an alpha male or to avoid beta male traps. Like how do I help make sure that he's competitive in society?
I was raised by both my parents. They're still married. They've been married for as long as I've been alive, I guess. Yeah, they got married like a year before I was born. But let me start off by saying like Black families in general, Black culture in America has been broken since
Slavery.
established. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, so all laws, all methods of living was literally put in place to not benefit us. It's not for us. So going into saying that, financially speaking, my mother would be the breadwinner of this generation of the household. And they're happily married for 30 plus years going on now, and as you know, and the way I grew up, I would say was odd because my mother is the sports fanatic and then my father is the cook. So more often, my mother was in the military, so she was the one with the technical 9 to 5, and my dad also, he's a truck driver, you know what I'm saying? But when he's on the road, he gone. When he home, he pretty much is cleaning up and shit. Like, but he'll clean the kitchen, he'll do that, but he's also outside like power washing the house in the driveway and still doing shit, changing a tire or something like that. Like he's still being a man. So, but when it comes to like certain things, like, hey, I want to know how to cook this, my mom might go at your dad. You know what I'm saying? When it was time for me to learn how to play basketball, my dad like, go at your mom. You know what I'm saying? So like, I literally grew up with, I would say like opposite when it comes to the norm of like a normal household. But when I look at you, I would say the most important thing for MJ growing up as a Black kid is seeing his mother treated properly in general.
That is such a that is such a powerful thing for you as like my friend to say, because I think that is something that is super underestimated. Even when Zaddy was talking about what we see in the household growing up, a lot of women now, a lot of people now, like, you know, the statistics are there. When we were kids, 80s and 90s babies, that's when the divorce rate was skyrocketing. No one was getting divorced in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. They stuck it the fuck out. Our grandparents stuck it out. We grew up in these broken households, whether it was because of divorce or like crack was a big thing. We can't deny crack and prison that happened, you know, but I think you saying one of the most important things is for MJ to see me treated a certain way is so crazy. And it's also played a big factor in me dating men now, because like one of the rules that I have is that I could never have one of my boyfriends if he's not like a serious, like, you know, if we're not engaged, I don't want him around my kid, just because like I don't want my kid, you know, to see um me being treated in any way that makes him feel some type of way. Because I remember when my parents split up and seeing them dating, I fucking hated my stepdad. My stepdad was just like horrible, and it had me feel so powerless as a kid, you know. And um go on, finish what you were saying.
Right. And I was gonna say, and I wasn't even generalizing that to like men you're dating. That even comes from like your parents, your mother, your father, your friends, your siblings. You know what I'm saying? Like the cashier at the grocery store,
And
the man
right.
walking in front of you opening the door, like why didn't he hold the door for my mother?
Oh my
Like,
God, that's, you
you know
remember
what I'm
when
saying?
that
Like,
happened? So that was the story that happened to MJ. I always teach MJ, you always have to hold doors open for women, but they always have to say thank you. We're coming outside of Wawa one day and he holds the door. He's struggling. He's 5. This white lady just walks out and he goes, excuse me. I said, oh shit, we about to be on the news. You didn't say thank you. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you. And he was like, you're welcome. And I was like, yeah, good job, Lord. You
and
know?
I personally think that's gonna like build him for the future when he's older, when he's looking for a woman. He's gonna be like, okay, a woman who really values herself is going to not allow those type of things to happen. I need a man, not in a snob way, but like generally, like
Because
I'm a lady.
one thing about his dad that I liked, a really big trait. Remember, we had me and Dwayne had a conversation on the phone the other day. He said, I was like kind of starting to talk shit about my baby father. He stopped me right then and there. He said, say 5 good things right now about your baby father. And I love that he like checked me on that, because it allowed me to like stop in my negative niggas ain't shit type stuff and was just like, oh, whoa. There's a certain level of respect that comes here with this guy that you carried his kid. And I did. And um
She named like 20 things, by the way. So it was like she
because
was good. Cause I'm like, she nice, but she talks her shit. Like she really like her way of being nice a lot is like talking shit. So like I'm just like, hold up. You know what I'm saying? Name a few good things about him. She was like, oh, well, you know, he does
yeah,
this. I'm like, all right, now you can keep talking shit.
because
Go ahead. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
not one of those women that just has a bunch of different, I like quality over quantity when it comes to people, when it comes to friends, relationships. So like I've never had a relationship with anyone that I couldn't, like they couldn't call me and say, hey, I need $100 and it'd be bad blood with. I just keep relationships like that way. One thing that I really like about MJ's dad and that I like about myself is that we're kind people, but we're not necessarily nice people. There's a difference between being kind and being nice. I feel like being kind is you treat people with respect. However, when they switch up on you and they start being an enemy, then you treat them accordingly. But being nice, that's that beta male shit. Being nice, no matter what happens, I'm still gonna be nice because you giving me pussy, because you doing this and this. Like there's a difference between Gandhi, when shit hit the wire, when the British were taking over and Gandhi was like, beat the shit out of me, and a difference between Malcolm X, right? So I would like to think that Malcolm X was kind in a lot of shit that he was doing, but he was not necessarily going to lay down and be nice when the rubber meets the road, right? So I think that's something also that I would want MJ to understand. Like, it's good to be kind, treat your woman well, but she not going to put her hands on you. Like, you know, or she's not going to do A, B, C, and D. Like, you know, you still got to, you know, be the man. Y'all look like y'all thinking.
Yeah, I was thinking about a way to be like, so just personally as a guy, it's the issue is, okay, so I don't have any good men in my life. I'm keeping everybody away. Okay, well, that kind of keeps your son, MJ, from getting a lot of random experience, like bro said, I can't say his handle. That's fucking weird.
You're not going to call him Zaddy.
Z-Talk, you feel me? What my boy Z-Talk was saying.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Oh yeah, it's all. But like he was saying real quick while he fixes it, like he was like he needs to spend the summer with his dad, like because I think that's like good right now for him, because I know you personally don't have a lot of random men in your life that you feel comfortable with, like just in general. So like he gets to see like his dad light a grill, you know what I'm saying? That like those little things matter. Like maybe it took me about 300 times to see my dad light a grill.
But can we
you know what I'm saying?
Can
like,
we talk about
matter.
that? Like, I would be comfortable with letting MJ go spend a whole summer with his dad, because I 100% have no feelings, no ill will towards that man. I do not want him romantically. A lot of women try to get control over their baby fathers when they still want them. They use the kid as a form of control. Like, there's no reason that you have a son and you will not let a nigga come see that son. A lot of women say that like they have an absent father or a deadbeat, and he's really not a deadbeat. He want to see his kid and he don't want to see you. And so a lot of women will try to turn it into shit that it's not. Like, one of my closest friends, I kind of had to stop hanging out with her because of that shit.
That shit's still off, bro.
He got something to say.
Now?
Oh, we can
What
hear
about
you
you?
now.
You up,
You
you
back.
up.
You
All
back.
right. I'm back. Yeah, I mean, I think this is all good. Good conversation. You know, but I don't expect you to call me by my handle. You can call me. Oh, I honestly don't expect any man to say that. It's really for the women.
You feel me? No, I already knew that.
I ain't that type. I don't want you to have to do all that. But
He said, "Hey, Z-Talk."
But here's the thing. I saw my dad work, but here's the thing. My mom made sure that I was in good activities to stimulate my mind. I was a Boy Scout, so I saw other men. I was in the woods, but I was in the Black Boy Scouts. I wasn't in the White Boy Scouts.
The ones that was molesting people?
Listen, no.
Like you said, we really built the fires and shit. We really built the fires.
I be watching documentaries.
I was in the listen. That did happen, but it didn't happen to me, thank God. But you know, I was in the White Boy Scouts when I was young, but then my mom transferred to the Black Boy Scouts, and then you know we're out fishing. You know, I see other men doing manly things and things like that. You know, I was in if I don't know, people in church, in chorus and things like that. Just keep them in good activities that will help build some of that character that you want. I know Boy Scouts was big for me, even though I didn't make it all the way through.
You ain't make it to Eagle
football,
Scouts?
No, I ain't make it to Eagle, but I was a life, so I was 2 away. And then in high school, and then Friday nights with the boys that didn't seem as fun as
them cheeks, as being younger. In your whole face.
You know, no. And then, you know, I played a musical instrument. You know what I mean? It's stimulation, things to do to stimulate. I think a lot of women want to create this. I think a lot of women want, hold on one second, and I'll let you go. I think a lot of women want to create this type of man that they like, but I don't see a lot of women creating Renaissance men. That's what we really should be creating. Renaissance men, Langston Hughes.
Oh, another
people
Black
that can go back in time into those days and be able to make something and move something. You put some of these kids in back in the day, they can't do nothing. They don't know none. And the focus, and I know she wants to speak, at least the focus isn't on building a real rounded man anymore. The focus is on be the most toughest gangsters SOB that you possibly can.
Aggressive.
But the reason why they're doing that, and was Colorado, she said this first, that's what the majority of the women are giving the pussy up to, those type of men. So they see that, they're training the kids to do that.
Was he breaking up for you guys or just me?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh,
man, broke up a little bit.
My internet.
No, okay. Internet. No, but I wanted to just agree because that maybe it reminded me of something where my best friend told me that his dad told him he wanted to play the drums in school. And he told him that he couldn't play the drums. I guess he didn't feel like it was masculine enough. And I was like, you could have been a drummer or something like that. And my thing is, again, a lot of like not only mothers but fathers don't raise their sons up to be that type of man, a man that is going to be out there mowing the lawn, a man that is going to be providing and doing it. Some men do not raise their, because they haven't been raised up to be that type of man.
And that's why there's so many street niggas going to jail, because everybody ain't cut out to be no mastermind. They doing petty crimes. They doing petty crimes.
People, they not getting it from the women as well. The women are telling young boys, be as hard as you can. When they really tell them, it's okay to cry, Mo, to be completely honest with you. You don't have to cry in front of everybody, but it's okay to have emotion and show emotion and feel hurt and feel pain. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's okay, because once you've mastered that and you aren't afraid of that, afraid of rejection and afraid of this and that, that's why niggas out here killing each other, because they're killing each other over clout.
Look, you ever been to black school? Look, I grew up in DC. You ever been to black school? You got high waters on. You try crying. Try crying in front of niggas.
That's different. That's different.
Niggas are dying.
But listen. I had high waters on, but I knew how to joan. It wasn't going to be none of that.
So we got to teach them that too. We got to teach niggas that too.
No, but it's a difference between being witty, which is more Renaissance, being witty and knowing how to make people laugh, versus saying, okay, he talked about you, go beat his ass. That's different.
Right. I was that one anime kid where somebody talked about me and I'm weird as shit. I'm in the back like, like on some weird shit because I watch too many animes and shit.
We if more people were comfortable at hearing like either criticism or laughing at themselves, there wouldn't be a lot of this stuff going on.
I agree.
Yeah. I agree. You know? And that's the point of the podcast, where it's something where we definitely can have different viewpoints and it's forward thinking. I want all of this. This is my gift to MJ. When he turns 18, I want to be like, hey, look at this shit that your mom did, and this is for you, and hopefully it helps. You know. All right, so I think this is a good place to wrap it up at. I think this is a good place. I definitely
condom on it.
Yeah. We don't want, look, Roe v. Wade is Dunsky. All right.
Put a rubber on this show, Mo.
I want to thank Truly for being here. One thing I love about Truly is her catchphrase, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, bitch. Like, I want to thank Zaddy from ZaddyTlks. Shout out your handles. How can we find you? Where will you be at? What's going on?
I got a couple of things going on, but the you talking to me or talking to Truly? Who you talking to? Okay. ZaddyTlks, ZaddyTlk on Instagram, also on YouTube as well. We talk about a lot of different topics, men, women, obviously, more of the stuff that we've been talking about here. Also Zaddy Soul. I'm doing a lot of soul food and stuff in the DC area. So if you're ever down in Southeast DC on Saturdays at the Ward 8 Farmers Market on the red lot in St. Elizabeth, fried fish, seafood, all that. Just put a little plug in for that. I know you guys like to eat. So that's where you can find me.
Oh, he's a well-rounded man. Look at him.
Look, this
cool. He in the kitchen too. Okay,
most eligible.
Okay.
No. I'm just working hard on myself. It's self. If you ain't improving yourself, trust me. If you keep improving yourself and add new skills every day, the women will always be there.
And didn't I say that to you earlier?
I'm in no rush.
You will never not have men. What are you talking about?
And for those, for my listeners that are only listening to this on Apple Podcasts, I would like to be like, just watch the YouTube video because this nigga's easy on the eyes too. Okay, but also I want to thank my real live spirit guide and best friend, also the co-host, co-writer to the show, Colorado. Shout out your handle, CO.
I don't need my social media this time.
All right, so it's a mystery. I'm gonna tag you.
Y'all can just watch the last episode.
But all right, guys, that is a wrap. Thank you for listening to BABECAST. Until next time.